Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. If you've never seen a 5x5 before, the idea is very simple. I take 5 subjects, talk about 5 different subjects. I spend 5 minutes on each subject. There is a timer down below. It ticks down to 0. When I get to 0, we move on to the next topic. It's quick, it's snappy, you never know what you're going to get. And today, you kind of do know what you're going to get because I am doing a John Bannon special. I did a David Roth special as a tribute to his life when he passed away. I've done a Jay Sankey special. Both of those were very well received. So I'm going to do a John Bannon special. And this is going to be the first of 2 John Bannon specials. The first one is going to be on early Bannon. So I'm going to be looking at the stuff that he brought out very early on in his career. Smoke and Mirrors and Impossibilia and books like that. A lot of the stuff that came out later on, kind of when he was working with Big Blind Media and a lot of the other projects, that's going to be tackled down the line on a follow-up video to this. This is all of the early Bannon material. A lot of Bannon stuff is so amazing. And a lot of magicians perform it, but he's created so many routines. A lot of people don't know about some of the stuff that he put together, especially early on in his career. So the idea is that I'm going to highlight 4 of his routines. I'm going to perform them and talk about why they're so good. And then I'm also going to be talking to you about the 3 best tricks from early on in his career that you might not have seen before. One thing is, when I'm performing the tricks that I've chosen to perform and talk about, I've tried to avoid tricks that I've discussed before on the channel. So even though Stranger's Gallery is amazing, I'm not planning on performing it because I actually discussed Stranger's Gallery in great detail in a previous video. You can look at the 3 tricks with double backers that you've never seen before where I talk about that. So I want to talk about more of the routines that maybe a lot of people haven't seen before or that they've forgotten. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Right, okay, let's look at Play It Straight Triumph by John Bannon. Play It Straight Triumph. He first published this in Impossibilia, and this is an incredible trick. Now, I actually use this as a follow-on to Vernon's Triumph routine, the classic Vernon Triumph routine. So what I tend to do with this is I have one person pick a card, I have another person pick a card, I go into the standard Triumph routine, the deck shuffle face up into face down, and then the one card that's and then what happens is the entire deck sorts itself out except for the card, and then as a follow-up I say, well, you picked a card as well, and I go into this, and I think it's best as a follow-up to some sort of Triumph routine. I'm not going to perform it like that for you now because I want you to see how it was originally written up in Impossibilia. So I'm going to perform the routine for you. I'm amazed at how many people don't do this trick. Maybe because it's so old, it's new, but this is so commercial. Let me perform it for you, and then we'll talk about what I think about it. Okay, so I've got Sarah behind the camera for this one. Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
You're going to help me with the card trick because you haven't seen many card tricks, have you, Sarah?
Oh, no, of course not.
We're going to do something with a pack of cards. Your hands are full, so I'll tell you what. Do me a favour. As I go through, just say stop.
Stop.
There? That one or that one? Sorry, it's...
The one with your thumb on it.
That one there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you look at that card and remember it?
Yeah.
I'll put it over there for a minute. We'll get back to it in a second. We'll pop it in the deck. Now, you agreed that was a free choice. You could have picked any card, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
I am going to divide the deck into approximately 4 piles. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but that's probably close to being exact there. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We don't have much space. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take half the cards face down and half the cards face up, and I'm going to shuffle them like this. Face up cards into face down cards. Now that's fair. You have a look at that. That's fair, right?
Okay.
So we're going to do this again. I'm going to take these cards. I'm going to shuffle these cards into these cards. Again, hopefully you'll agree that that is completely fair. And then finally, I'm going to take these and shuffle these together like that. So we now have a situation where we have cards all mixed up. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and make every single card turn face up except for your card. Are you ready?
Okay.
Done. So now I've sorted... It's really weird. Hang on, let me try that again. If I snap my fingers, every single card, it...
No.
Hang on, is that still your card? You were supposed to put the card back in the pack.
Was that?
Don't worry, I can fix this. What's the suit of your card? Don't tell me the card, just tell me the suit.
I don't know now.
Help.
It was red.
Okay, should we just pretend it's a heart?
Yeah, something like.
Well, it's either going to be a heart or a diamond.
Go with heart.
Let's go with heart. Trust
totally
me.
forgot
I've got
that
a bit of
story.
inside knowledge. It's definitely a heart. Let's try that again. Totally unscripted. Sarah, what suit is your card?
It's a heart.
I'm so glad you remembered that. Look, I'm going to fix it. It's done. Look at this. Every single card in order. We've got the ace of hearts, the 2 of hearts, 3 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 5 of hearts, 6, 7, 8, no 9, 10, jack, queen, king. Look, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no 9, 10, jack, queen, king, which means that your card must be the 9 of hearts. There you go. And even if you have an annoying spectator that can't remember their card, you'll still be able to do this. Right, so that is Play It Straight Triumph. And you can see why it follows really well with a normal triumph, because you get the triumph correct. And that's what's great about following up with a normal triumph. They understand the concept of triumph because you've just done it. And then you go, well, let me do it with your card. I normally have the spectator put their card in their pocket. And it's down to acting. You need to make it so that the spectator genuinely believes you've made a mistake. And then when they see every single card in order turn over, oh my gosh, it's incredible. Now, from a practicality point of view, you obviously need a setup on top. There's a couple of ways of doing this. It's very easy to set this up on the fly in like a minute. All you have to do is just cull out the heart cards and then just put them in order. But it's not a difficult thing to do. But if you like the routine and you're going to do it again and again, you could, just in the act of just reversing these so they're all the right way, you can instantly reset this deck. And I used to do this routine so much at one point, I used to keep this deck just for Triumph and Play It Straight Triumph. And what's nice about doing the original Triumph is it looks like you've shuffled the pack. Because you're using a couple of Zarro shuffles, the pack looks shuffled, which makes it even more deceptive. So there you go. I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments down below if you do it, but Play It Straight Triumph is just brilliant in my opinion. Okay, we're going to look at a little TTNA right now, which was a routine that John published in Impossibilia, and it is an ace revelation. Now, there's millions of ace revelations. John Bannon's released probably about 1,000 of them himself, and I've talked about directed verdict being the best cutting the aces routine I've ever seen. This is a little bit different because what happens is you take the aces out, you shuffle them face up into a face down deck. You then do a triumph style routine. So the aces are all over the place. The rest of the cards are all over the place. And then you find the aces one by one. And then the deck sorts itself out except for the final ace. It's a really commercial routine. I'll talk to you about why it's so commercial in a minute. But first of all, I want you to see what the routine looks like if you've never seen it before. So I'm going to perform a little TTNA from Impossibilia, and then we'll talk about why it's so good. Okay, sir. So I'm going to show you something with a pack of cards. One thing that magicians are really good at is finding 4 cards, like finding the 4 aces from a deck of playing cards. Now, this is something that takes lots and lots of practice. And I know you've always had a burning desire to be able to do a 4-ace revelation yourself.
Me?
You.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's really simple. First of all, you have to understand the best way to practice. And the best way to practice this is to put the aces face up into a face down pack. And the reason why that's the best way is because that way you'll know if you're doing any good at finding the aces, because you'll see if you've cut to them because they're face up. So I'm going to shuffle the aces face up into a face down pack like that. And now if I wanted to try and find those aces, it would be a lot easier for me to practice because the aces are face up. When you've learned how to do that, you then have to take it to the next level. Which is then find the aces face down. And then finally, you can do something where a lot of magicians find is next to impossible, which is taking the deck and turning half the cards face up, half the cards face down, and shuffling the cards face up into face down. Now, there's a technical term for this, and it's called a mess. But the reason why this is really difficult is because now the cards are face up and face down. You don't know if an ace is face up. You don't know if an ace is face down. So now I'm going to try and find the 4 aces. And the first one, if I just cut in the right place, you can see there's face up and face down cards, but if I cut in the right place, I can get an ace. That's the ace of hearts. Now, let me see if I can try and do that again. The next one, I'm just going to take this packet, rub it on my arm, and when I do, I get the second red ace. That's the ace of diamonds. Thank you. So now I've managed to find 2 aces. Like I say, each time I find an ace, it becomes more difficult because there's now only 2 aces in a pack of cards that are face up and face down. But there you go. That's the 3rd ace. I've managed to find the 3rd one, which leaves us with 1 final ace. Now, the last ace is the hardest one of the lot, because if I go through the deck, I could show you that there's face-up cards, there's face-down cards, there's cards face down, there's cards face up. It's very difficult to find that last ace unless I do this. You see, by doing that, what I've actually done is I've been able to sort out every single card in the pack, with the exception of one card right there in the middle, which is the final ace, the ace of spades. So that was a little TT&A. Let me tell you why I love this. I always follow a 4-ace revelation with this routine, because especially if you've got guys that are kind of really into gambling, you know, when you're performing at that gig and they go, oh, but can you teach me how to cheat at cards? I'll typically go into some sort of 4-ace cutting routine. I might do estimation aces by Paul Gordon and a few different things. But once I've produced the aces, in that environment, people are always like, oh my gosh, can you teach me how to do this? This almost feels like a pseudo explanation. It starts off as a very kind of real, it feels like I'm really trying to let them in on the secrets as to how to find 4 aces. And then before you know it, it turns into this crazy Triumph style routine. And if you've seen Triumph before, if you've performed Triumph before, you know that laymen really get a kick out of Triumph. When all the cards are face up, face down, and then they all sort themselves out, laymen just can't understand that. It just baffles them. You throw in a 4-ace production, and then you've got that beautiful Paul Harris subtlety at the end that John threw into it, where you're using tilt to show that all the cards are face up and face down, even though you've only got one card face down. It's absolutely amazing. It's a shuffle deck in use. You don't require a table. It's anytime, anywhere. Because it's a shuffle deck in use, there's no reset. And it makes a great standalone routine, but as I say, it also makes a great follow-up to a 4-ace production if you're performing for the sort of people that are really, really into sort of gambling routines and 4-ace productions and things like that. So again, it's flown under the radar of a lot of people. I think probably because when he published it in his book, there's so much great material, it just kind of fell by the wayside. But it's a very commercial routine, and it's well worth learning. And it's called a little TT&A. You can find it in Impossibilia. Right, let's talk about John Bannon's 3 best tricks. In my opinion, these are the 3 most commercial best tricks from his early career. As I say, this whole thing is about kind of early John Bannon, but these are the 3 best tricks from his early career. I just think these are absolutely phenomenal. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of honourable mentions. I performed this on a Magic Live recently, but his trick shot production is absolutely brilliant. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on the Magic Live playlist. The whole idea is somebody picks a card, they are going to pick a black 8, and then the idea is that you've got this card case that's on the table the whole time. You take the card case and you say, hey, if your card was in here, would that be good? They say yes. You ask what the card is. They say it's a black 8, and this card case that's been on the table the whole time, you shake out an actual 8 ball. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Also, another routine from Smoke and Mirrors that is really good is his cutting the aces style routine. He's got a cutting the aces thing. I think it's called Directed Verdict. And it is the 4-ace production. Spectator cuts the aces. It is the version I have used for probably about 10 years now. It is absolutely amazing. It is so good. I honestly believe that anybody who does Spectator cuts the aces should look into that version because it's brilliant. And I'll give you one more honourable mention as well. Return of the Magnificent 7, which was in Smoke and Mirrors as well. Return of the Magnificent 7 is just a phenomenal routine. I've never seen anyone perform it other than Bannon. I did it for many, many years. It is unbelievable. Right, those are your honourable mentions. I'm going to talk about the best 3 tricks right now. So in 3rd place, Tattoo You. Tattoo You is absolutely incredible. And it was, I think, one of the first tricks that started off the whole pulling the signature off an object type thing. You know, these days you see it happening all the time. So many card routines that are coming out by different cardicians where a signature jumps from one card to the other. But Bannon's was one of the first, and it's still one of the best. If you haven't seen it before, you've got a prediction in your pocket. I've actually done it on a Magic Live. But you've got a prediction in your pocket. Let's say you're using a blue back deck. You've got a red back card in your pocket, and you have someone pick a card. And they pick a card from the blue back deck, and you say, hey, if my prediction matched that, would that be good? Let's say they pick the 8 of spades, you show your prediction, it's the 8 of spades. Now, they've signed their card from their deck. So the blue card from the blue deck has been signed by them, and then you've got your red back prediction, which is the same card but without a signature. And then you very cleanly show both cards. So you can see that the signed one is the blue card, the unsigned one's the red one, and holding the cards face up, you pull the signature from one card to the other, and immediately everything is examinable. It is that clean. It's super commercial. I've done it in walk around, but I've also done it on big tables. It's just an amazing trick. An instant reset, super commercial, no angle issues, and it can be done on the spectator's hand. So that's number 3. In second position, I'm going to give it to Stranger's Gallery. I mentioned it into the intro to this whole video. Stranger's Gallery is probably the best color changing deck ever created, because it's not framed like a color changing deck. You talk about how you've got to have 3 predictions taken out the deck. You take 3 predictions out, and you're very subtly showing that the backs of the cards are all blue. So you're not having to use the Hindu force, the Hindu shuffle, which is what everyone does. So you've got your 3 prediction cards there. They pick a card, and by the way, the force that he uses is incredible. And the whole idea is that you end up a little bit of a wild card thing. You go, well, you pick the Ace of Hearts. What's interesting is my 3 predictions over here are Ace of Hearts as well. So you've now got 4 Ace of Hearts. And then what you do is you say, well, you can't have 4 Ace of Hearts in one deck, and they're not. They're all from different decks. And you proceed to change the backs of each one of these cards one at a time, packet trick style. And then you end up by taking the whole deck, snapping your fingers, and the entire deck changes colour on the back. And everything, the entire deck is examinable. The cards aren't, but no one's looking at those. They're all looking at the deck. It's incredible. And then number 1 is Twisted Sisters. When I first got into the Magic, this is the packet trick that everybody did. It's like Brainwave taken to a completely nth degree. And by the way, if you don't do Twisted Sisters, it's so old, it's new. It's brilliant for virtual shows. I'm doing it on virtual shows all the time, and it's absolutely amazing. You bring out 2 packets, 4 cards in each packet, 1 red backed, 1 blue backed. You pretend that there's queens in there. You get one person to think of one queen, one person to think of the other queen. The queens turn face up. They've got a different coloured back. And then when you say, the kicker is, all the other cards are jokers. It is incredibly clean. And, you know, it's a marketed effect. It's still available. For me, it's the best packet trick ever created. John Bannon's Twisted Sisters. That is the best trick that John has ever done. Right, let's talk about Shriek of the Mutilated, which was released in Impossibilia. A lot of people think of John Bannon as a card magician, and that's because he's released so much damn clever material with cards. I probably haven't helped things, to be honest, by performing a lot of card-related stuff that John's done, but he does a lot of other stuff other than cards. I've talked on this channel before that his coins to mug routine is one of the best coins across, or coins to mugs, that I've ever seen. And he's published a lot of coin routines. I remember Aztec Exchange of Smoke and Mirrors is one of the best handlings of the 2 copper 1 silver routine that I've seen. And he's published so much other non-card related material, one of the best of which is Shriek of the Mutilated. I'm making a bold statement right now. Shriek of the Mutilated is the best torn and restored cigarette paper trick I have ever seen. I have done this for walk-around purposes. I've done this for years and years and years, and it never fails to get grasps. It is a way of doing a torn and restored cigarette paper trick. It's a way of doing a torn and restored cigarette paper without actually switching packets. It's so clever. Let me perform it for you, and I'll talk about why it's so good. Okay, Sarah, so you're going to help me with this, if that's okay?
Yeah.
I have a pin. It's got a little skull on it with hair coming off it. It's quite a scary looking pin.
Is that the bit that gets the grasps?
Okay. I meant gasps. Do I need to be criticised by... I've got enough people that hate me without you joining in.
I don't hate you, I just think it's funny. Do the trick.
I've got Rizzler papers. Now, obviously, we all know that you're a heavy smoker.
Yeah,
so you'll recognise these Rizzler papers, obviously. What I'm going to do is create an illusion.
Right.
This isn't real. I mean, it's going to look real, but it's not. Does it look like I'm tearing it in 2?
It does. Well, into 4 now, actually.
Into 4. And if I tear it again, let's work out your maths. What am I tearing it into now?
Oh, now you've got 8.
You're so good at this, aren't you? Now, the idea here is I'm just going to ball these pieces up like this. I'm going to try and ball all the little pieces together. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And the pin is to stab them together so they don't come apart.
Right.
And the tricky part here is to stab it all together, but without stabbing your finger. You see, I almost stabbed my finger. So that was. I like to put danger in. Stop laughing. Stop laughing.
You made me jump.
Sorry, I almost stabbed my finger. Right. Okay. Can you see the Can you see the pieces of paper there? Yeah.
I think so.
Right. Okay. Look. Watch this. Watch this. This is going to happen on 3. 1, 2. What is this? I've got another one. Don't worry. 1, 2. Stop laughing. Right. Here we go. Ah! Look. In a flash. In a flash. Look.
I didn't see. I'm too busy laughing.
In a flash. There was a major flash there. Did you miss it? That was the magical moment. That was the money shot right there.
The camera got it, but I didn't see.
Okay. Well, let me show you. If I can just... Why can I no longer undo this? This is just a nightmare. Right, hang on a minute.
I have no idea what you're doing.
I'm restoring the paper in a flash. Look at that. No tears for you scorch marks because I've just burned the bloody thing. But look, back together. That's what dreams are made of right there. That's real magic.
Well done, dear.
Okay, I like to be real with you guys, and I'm going to be honest with you, that's not the best performance of that trick I've ever done. I stabbed myself, my lighter didn't work, I had to reach for another lighter. I forgot what I was saying, but I'm hoping that you guys were all still grasped. Stop laughing. But I want to be real with you. It would have been very easy for me to just refilm it, but I wanted to show you that sometimes things don't go according to plan. At least the trick still works. Sarah didn't get a chance to see it because she was doubled over laughing her ass off when the revelation happened. But the beautiful thing about this routine, when it's performed properly, and I'll do a performance on Magic Live for you at some point so you can see what it's meant to look like. When you do it right, the beautiful thing is, once you set up the Rizzler packet, it instantly resets itself. So you can immediately do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. And you're not having to like hold out a packet, because once you set fire to it, the one packet just disappears because it's flash paper and the other packet remains. And when you stab it with the needle, the spectator holds onto the needle. It happens in their hand. It's a really commercial routine. Let's talk about timely departure. John Bannon published this in Smoke and Mirrors, and it is an amazing trick. It's completely self-working. I normally do a full shuffle in there at one point, but you don't have to. It's not published with a full shuffle. I just think it adds to it. But it is an amazing routine. A lot of people say to me, what's your favorite self-working routine? Well, this is right up there. It's great. It uses a shuffle deck in use, and it brings 3 people into the performance. If you haven't seen it or performed it, it is really well worth learning. Let's have a look at a full performance of it right now. Timely departure. Okay, so I'm here with Ryland and Thea. Say hi, Ry. Say hi, Thea.
Hi. Hi.
Good girl. And say hi, Sarah.
Hi, sir.
Honestly, you should be the one doing the comedy on stage, and I'll just stay at home doing the homeschooling. How's that sound?
No, thanks.
All right. I got a pack of 52 playing cards. This is a shuffle deck in use for anyone who cares about that sort of thing. Do you want me to shuffle, Ry?
Yeah.
Okay. You trust me. Good stuff. So this trick is all about time. Because I find it really interesting when the clocks go forward and backward and time changes. It's so weird. So, Sarah, I want you to think of an hour of the day. Anything from 1 o'clock through to 12 o'clock. Have you got an hour?
Yep.
You got a number from 1 to 12. Don't tell me. I want you to tell the kids, okay? I'm going to look away. If you could just let the kids know what number you're thinking of when you've done that, let me know. You got it?
Yep, we got it.
Cool. So you're all thinking of a number. You're thinking of an hour of the day. Ryland, I want you to take these cards. Whatever number you're thinking of, I want you to take that many cards and put them away in your pocket. So if you're thinking of 10, you take 10 cards and you put them in your pocket. If you're thinking of 1, you put 1 card in your pocket. Can you do that for me? Yeah. And then put the rest of the cards in front of me. If you could do that as quickly as you can, that would be amazing. The reason I'm getting Ryland to do that is because that way we know what number you guys are thinking of, because you're going to have that many cards in your pocket. Are we good?
Yep.
Cool. So here we go. I don't know the number. Because I don't know the number, we're going to use that number to have each one of you pick a card in a very interesting way. Ryan and I'm going to show you 12 cards, one at a time. I want you to remember the card at the number that you're thinking of. So you're thinking of 1 o'clock, you remember the first card. If you're thinking of 2 o'clock, you remember the second card. Do not, under any circumstances, say, got it, let me go through all 12 cards, else I'll know roughly where your card is. And I don't want to have any idea what your card is. Do you understand? Say yes.
Yes.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you have that, little man?
Yes.
Very good. Sarah, you are next. Are you excited?
Oh, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Thea, you are last. Are you ready for this, princess?
Yeah.
Good. I will show them to you as well. 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you have yours as well, Thea?
Yeah.
Excellent. So all three of you are thinking of a card. And because I don't know what number you're thinking of, there's no way I can know what card you're thinking of. Well, you know when the clocks go forward and they go backwards, basically what happens is an hour will disappear. And with that in mind, I'm going to shuffle the cards very badly, and I'm going to try and do the same thing, and I'm going to try and make that particular hour disappear. Watch, let me take some cards. Ryland, I want you to tell me, and you as well, Sarah, and you as well, Thea, is your card that you're thinking of anywhere in this packet?
No.
No? Okay, that's interesting, that's interesting. What about, let's try again. Let's take some more. Ryland, Thea, Sarah, are your cards anywhere in this packet?
Nope.
No, okay, that's interesting. Well, I'm more than halfway through. Let's try again. What about here?
Nope.
What about you?
No, I don't think so. You went
no.
fast, but I don't think
How's
so.
that- how's that? No?
Yeah, no.
No? Okay. We've got a few left. Right there.
No.
Interesting. So your three cards have gone from the pack. That's because I made your hour disappear. And now I can bring your hour back. You see, all I have to do is wind the deck up. And when I do, the hour comes back. And if you look at this, down in the middle of the pack now, we have the 8 of hearts. We have the 8 of clubs. We have the Jack of clubs. Was your card there, Ryland?
Yes.
Is your card there, Sarah?
Yep.
Is your card there, Thea? Yes, it is. That is
Yes.
absolutely amazing, and that is timely departure. So there it is, 5x5 early John Bannon special. Let me know in the comments down below what you think are the routines that I didn't perform that maybe you think I should have touched upon, in which case please let me know what these are. And are there any Bannon routines that you perform that you really like from early on in his career? Or are there any of the routines that I perform that you do in your set as well? Let's get a dialogue going down below. And what would you like to see in the, I'm going to be filming the second part of this at some point in the next couple of weeks. So let me know what you'd like to see on a follow-up video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Once again, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, leave a comment down below, and I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock with the Talk Magic. I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic Kingdom.